The Battle of Surigao Strait. The Surigao Strait is a vital passage for the Japanese Empire. The Battle of Surigao Strait took place here on October 25, 1944, which was part of the Battle of Leyte Gulf, generally considered the largest naval battle in history. A part of Admiral Thomas C. Kinkaid, U.S. 7th Fleet Support Force, and the Royal Australian Navy's Task Force 74 with 6 battleships, 8 cruisers, 28 destroyers, and a large amount of PT boats against Vice Admiral Shoji Nishimura's Southern Force, which contained 2 battleships, 1 heavy cruiser, and 4 destroyers. At 15 minutes after noon on October 24, 1944, Admiral Kinkaid of the U.S. 7th Fleet alerted every combatant and merchant ship under his command to prepare for a night engagement. He correctly estimated that Nishimura's Southern Force would try to penetrate Leyte Gulf via Surigao Strait that night. At 1513, when Admiral Oldendorf received Kinkaid's order to prepare for night action. On the evening of 24 October, Oldendorf placed his battleships across the exit from the strait, with his cruisers on the flanks and the destroyers ready to make torpedo attacks on the advancing Japanese. The PT boats were sent down the straits to find the Japanese. Battle line Admiral Weyler would steam east and west between a position about 5 miles east of Hingatungen Point and the meridian of the lighthouse on Hibusen Island. Left flank cruisers, which Admiral Oldendorf himself commanded in Louisville, were to steam back and forth over 2.5 miles south of battle line. At 22:36, a PT boat group, operating off Bohol, picked up the flag group on radar, and the 3 boats closed to the attack at 24 knots. At 22:50, they sighted Nishimura, distant 3 miles. 2 minutes later, destroyer Surigao Strait sighted them. That moment marks the end of peaceful cruising for Nishimura and the opening of the Battle of Surigao Strait. Admiral Nishimura ordered an emergency turn to starboard, toward the PTs at 2254. 2 minutes later, when the boats were trying to put their contact reports through, they were illuminated, taken under gunfire by Surigao Strait, and straddled with 4.7-inch shell as they zigzagged violently and made smoke. Deploying, they sought to close range for a torpedo attack, but were unable to do so. Nishimura was well pleased with the way his ships had dealt with these nuisances. At 0100, he advised both Kurita, who was already out of San Bernardino Strait, and Shima, who was then 35 to 40 miles astern, that he would pass Pannon Island at 0130 and penetrate into Leyte Gulf. Nishimura's and his squadron soon entered the Surigao Strait. At 0300, the destroyers of Admiral Oldendorf made visual contact of Nishimura's Southern Force. 5 destroyers launched a torpedo attack and struck the Fuso. She caught fire just after 0330 sank. 2 Japanese destroyers were also sunk and a third too badly damaged to continue. This left Nishimura with the battleship Yamashiro, which had also been hit by torpedoes, the cruiser Mogami, and the destroyer Surigao Strait. The cruisers opened fire from the flanks at 0351, and the battleships followed a few minutes later. The more modernized ships were able to open fire at a range of just over 20,000 yards and played the main part in the battle. The 2 heavier Japanese ships took a terrible beating. Just after 4 a.m., the cruiser turned to flee, followed by the Yamashiro. It was too late for the battleship Yamashiro, and at 0419 she capsized and sank, taking Admiral Nishimura with her. The destroyer Surigao Strait hadn't suffered to the same extent and managed to make her escape. The Mogami was badly damaged and on fire, but she managed to limp away to join Admiral Shima's force. Admiral Shima found the remains of the Fuso, which had split in half. He decided that there was no point in sacrificing his own much weaker force and decided to retreat, ending the Battle of Surigao Strait. The Battle of Surigao Strait marks the end of an era. It was the last naval battle in which air power played no part. It was the last engagement of a battle line. The Battle of Surigao Strait is significant as the last battleship-to-battleship action in history. The Battle of Surigao Strait is part of the greatest naval battle in history